after a shit ton of food, a couple games of shuffle table, and a little bit of tomfoolery, this is episode 31 of the No Holds Barred podcast, but we're rocking a little bit old school.
Yes, a little bit on the old school. Tell them how we're going old school, Nick.
Well, it's going down.
Meet me in the mall.
It's going it's definitely going down old school because we used to go into the mall. Not that quite often for old school because old school was normally hanging out in the halls.
Actually, when I said meet me in the mall, it's part of the lyrics to a song called It's Going Down.
I know.
Okay.
But I was just dropping it more old school than that song.
Oh, well, hey, fair enough. You nailed it. Yeah, that's true. We rocked the mall a time or two. We thought about rocking the mall for Helmet Head.
Returns, yeah, but that never happened.
Which is a positive because now I work in the mall.
Yeah, that doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, but they'd just be like, I remember this fat motherfucker. he wore a bike helmet over his face and had shenanigans.
Yeah, shenanigans ensue. But this is we're talking a little bit of No Holds Barred, and then we're going to rock Last Man Standing.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a combo deal, which is what we used to do when we first did the podcasts. Like when we first started these, we rocked a little bit of regular stuff, and then we rocked a little bit of wrestling before we decided, hey, maybe we should split them up. And ever since that divorce happened, we've been doing it that way. We've been doing them separate mostly. A time or two, we'll put them back together like this.
Justin never wants to take the kids anymore.
You know, I feel like I was part of creating them. My job is done at that point. I basically just made a donation, and I wasn't looking forward to the responsibility. But you know, unfortunately, that's not how this podcast world works.
Guess. Speaking of sharing the kids, I think we should do it right now, and let's go into the taste test.
All right, let's start right away with the taste test. Of course, for those of you that know, who are in the know, we'll put it that way.
The no-no.
The no-no. The no-nos are much more
Removing
fun.
the hair.
What?
There's a device called a no-no.
Oh yeah,
and it's a hair
that's
removal
right. The
device.
no hair removal thing.
Yeah.
I see. I went a lot dirtier than that.
You went private areas.
You were just like removing the hair, and I was like, right on, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, down there.
Exactly.
In
so
the nether regions.
For those who know, the No Holds Barred taste test. We do this every time we do a No Holds Barred podcast. We take a different beer from either somewhere in Canada or around the world. We try to make it around the world if we possibly can.
We go to the beers of the world section.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. And NSLC, of course, Nova Scotia Liquor Commission. We go to the beers of the world section and we pick one that neither one of us have ever tried before. So you get pretty organic and authentic opinions on a beer that we've never tried. Now, what we did last time on episode 30 was we took actually a Canadian beer, a local beer, Alexander Keith's, and what they did is they've put out like what's called a hop series, and it's I think 3 different flavors now at least.
I believe so.
And what we did last time was we tried the Galaxy Hop Ale, the one that kind of had some fruit, some fruity flavors, and our consensus was pretty high on that. We seemed to like it quite a bit.
It was a drinkable beer. Still doesn't rival Guinness, but really nothing does.
Well, actually, you know what? Speaking of that, did you hear there was an article floating around Facebook about how Guinness is
I read that.
killing people.
It's not killing people. They just go, it got genetic shit, genetically friggin' shit in it. And so does most beers.
Fair enough.
What is your point?
Fair enough.
You want me to drink Heineken? Fuck no, I'm not drinking Heineken.
Yeah, fuck the Heineken.
Oh, God, remember that one time in high school where we had the mini keg of Heineken?
Oh, God, yeah, that was fucking horrific.
Oh,
that was like a big party at my house, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was like when we had all those people. Never again.
Never again.
That was horrible. So, again, last time we tried the Galaxy Hop Ale, and this time we have the Cascade Hop Ale.
Cascade Hop Ale.
So still Alexander Keith's, and I'm sure it's still likely to have that taste, that Keith's
Notes of
aftertaste.
Fresh citrus, distinguished. This hop named for the Cascade Mountains.
Okay, so this is almost kind of the same idea. It's supposed to be citrusy, so that could work out in our favor, or it could work out like that Rickard's shanty. 50-50 either way.
Serve in a glass to release the full aroma and distinct flavors of the hop.
Well, too bad. Ideal serving temperature is 4 to 5 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah.
All right. So, without further ado and without further ramblings, let's get into the taste test.
It's a full 5.5% alcohol.
Got a nice little snap there. I happened to spray myself in the face a little bit with some of the.
It has a lot of foam to it.
It does, yeah. The foam. You can tell if you're watching on the Ustream. That's the foam has literally popped up over the top of the can of mine,
which is something I like.
Yeah, it's not bad. Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
No holds barred taste test of Alexander Keith's Cascade Hop Ale. That's nasty, sir. Not the beer. What you were doing.
You gotta get the flavors washed around in your mouth.
Apparently,
because the first taste you wash it around in your mouth to get like the rest of the shit
right
have in your mouth out.
I suppose so. Yes.
And then the second drink is your actual taste.
Ah, see what a pro. Like you're getting some real professional beer drinking or just drinking in general advice from a true champion over here.
I do what I can, and I can what I do.
Initial thoughts?
Well, again, like the other one, you can definitely tell it's a Keith's beer.
100%. It's got that kind of. Do we call it a bitter aftertaste? Like, is it?
I want to call it a bitter aftertaste.
Yeah, it's got that kind of trademark. The trademark aftertaste that you're going to get in most every Keith's beer. Like even like Keith's does a lime, don't they? Or is that just Moosehead and Budweiser?
I think it's just Moosehead and Budweiser.
Oh, okay.
Keith's used to do a lime, but that used to be Moosehead.
Yeah, it was Moosehead.
One. Yeah.
And Moosehead still does, I think.
I can't find that anymore.
Oh no, well, that's okay. Bud Lime's was better than the Moose Lime anyway.
I guess.
Dang, dropping science. All right. Yeah, you can definitely tell that it's a Keith's beer.
You can definitely taste the hops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. That being said, I don't get much citrus.
No, I didn't either. Like as soon as I drank it, I felt it tasted like I was just drinking a Keith's. You know what I mean?
A much more hoppy Keith's.
Yeah, even on like third. Well, no, you know what? I got a little. Yeah, no, I got a little. There's hints of it in there, and maybe the can's 100% right. Maybe you really do have to drink it out of a glass for the full effect of like the citrus tastes to kind of fire. But like I got a little bit of citrus on my third and fourth sip there. Nick, in case you can't tell on the Ustream, is literally plugging one nostril and then inhaling from the can with the other nostril, trying to distinctly pick out the citrus palate.
You get kind of a grapefruit
really?
Smell to
okay.
From it.
I must test this. Continue with your theories while I test.
Well, it's kind of like a I can't put it in any other way than a grapefruit.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of get that. So now, if we had to compare this to the Galaxy, the kind that we had the last time, let's give a direct. It's the taste test within the taste test. Okay. Taste testception. Exactly. So you got the taste test within the taste test here, comparing the two in this line that we've had.
Okay. So what are we doing? Is it like which one we like better?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like which of the two did you think you prefer? This one or the Galaxy?
I preferred the Galaxy.
Yeah, I think
lot
I
better.
did too. Yeah, I think we're in definite agreement there. I don't dislike this. I'm not a huge Keith's fan, but I don't dislike this at all. But I think between the two of them, I think I would definitely prefer the Galaxy.
Like this one, it tastes more hoppy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have that much citrus taste to it, and it lingers.
It does.
It
yeah.
really does linger.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that right there is, it's not good.
Not the greatest. Fair enough. So, bullet to our head. If we had to give this something out of 10. What did we do last time?
I don't know. I think we did 10.
Maybe we did do 10.
I would give this. God, I can't pass this.
No.
No.
Ooh.
It's just like Heineken. I can't pass Heineken either.
Fair enough.
I will give this a solid 3.5.
Wow, that's low.
I'm not sold on it for taste.
Right.
And that right there is a big thing when it comes to beer.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair. I wasn't gonna be quite so low on it, I don't think. I was probably gonna go probably a 5. If it's a pass, it's barely a pass.
So you're going to give it a barely passing
grade.
Exactly. You're going to give it some like bonus points for writing its name.
Basically,
just to bump it over.
Yeah, give an extra point, a point for participation for showing up to class. It's a conditional pass. If you like Keith's beer, you'll like it. If you're like me and you're not quite sold on it, you're going to have a bit of a harder time. But overall, I'll give it like just barely a pass. So we're still consensus mark here. We're looking at like a 4 between the two of us.
Around there.
So
still not the greatest.
Yeah.
But
hey, there's worse out there.
Oh yes, definitely. Miller Lite.
Yeah, exactly. Like
oh God.
Like Miller Lite for sure.
You will never see this on the podcast. Miller
and if it
Lite.
is, just so we could, I don't know, piss in it and take it back. Yeah, fair enough. So there you go, folks. There's the No Holds Barred taste test. That's the 4th or 5th one that we've done, I think.
I believe so.
I have to go back
it's catching
and
on.
Double check. Yeah, it's catching on. Exactly. Well, let's just go with that. Yeah. So far in the Alexander Keith's Hop Ale series, for both of us, it's Galaxy all the way. What else has been going on? We've got quite a bit that we're going to talk about in this podcast.
We got some mad science, and by mad science, that means that we're going to be dropping something to you guys that we're doing that could possibly help us in the near future and help you.
Exactly. So you know what? We might as well not bury the lead. We might as well go right into that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, No Holds Barred Productions is on Patreon. We just signed up for the Patreon and launched the page a few days ago. If you're wondering what Patreon is, if you have no idea what we're talking about, Patreon is a fundraising service. It's like Kickstarter. It's the same principle as Kickstarter, except that rather than getting one big sum of money at the end of a predetermined campaign, like at the end of 30 days, you get whatever it is and then you're done. What Patreon is it's a way for content creators like us, like who do podcasts and videos and all that jazz, to have like a guaranteed kind of stream of income coming here from the people who like the things that they do and the people who are big fans of them, like you're big fans of us.
No, don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
We're never going to charge for our content.
Right, and that's not the idea. The idea isn't to charge directly for, like, you can't listen to this podcast unless you give us $1.
It's like donations.
Exactly.
It's to help. If you like something that we do, help us out.
Exactly.
Please.
Please. Yeah, it's a way for you guys to support what we do and support our ability to not only continue doing what we do, but also to branch out and do other things.
And we have other things planned.
And we do have quite a bit of other stuff planned that we do want to do that may not necessarily get done or isn't going to get done as well as it could be without some support. You know what I mean? And we figured that just as good as any other method would be going to the people that enjoy what we already do and saying, hey, we've got these things planned and you can directly influence whether these things happen or not, which is pretty empowering for people who just watch kooky videos or listen to podcasts on the internet. So the link to the Patreon page is going to be in the description of the YouTube video, or you can go to patreon.com, and it's patreon.com, patreon.com.
Or just be on the screen right now. Pow, pow, pow.
Bam. Maybe it's on the screen right now. Who knows? Who cares? No, we care.
We care.
Exactly. We
love you long time.
Exactly. So it might be on the screen right now, but it's patreon.com/noholdsbarredproductions. And again, you can become a patron of us. You can directly influence the content that we're able to create for as little as $1 a month. I mean, as soon as you hit $1 a month, you become what we know as friends of the shows. And of course, with Patreon, the same way as it is with Kickstarter, you have some perks and bonuses if you do decide that you do want to financially support us, toss us a couple of bucks every month. You guys have some perks coming at you, like, again, being listed as a friend of the show, early access to all of our YouTube content. There's maybe some clothing down the line somewhere. So, stop calling it swag. That word fucking sucks. But maybe a little bit of clothing down the line.
Swag.
Oh, I hate you. And like there's stuff that you guys are able to earn, and perks that you're able to have for being a patron of us. So once again, patreon.com/noholdsbarredproductions. And if you want to support us, we greatly appreciate the support.
Well said.
There we go. So that's that'll be all the shilling for this show. I think we got that in like under 4 minutes. So that's all the shilling. Let's go back to the funnies.
Right.
All right. Where should we go from here?
A podcast happened last week.
Yes. No, not last week. Week before.
A week before.
Right,
sorry.
Last week was WrestleMania. No worries.
My head is a little bit out of place.
Yes. The last time we did this was 2 weeks ago when we did the big WrestleMania podcast with, of course, Nick and myself, as well as Rodney, Justin, and Cody, the founding fathers of Twin City Wrestling's Smart Mark Alley. So that was huge, and we had so much fun doing that. We really did.
That was really fun.
It was a great show. It was quite a bit of editing, but you know what? It was a great show. But
and there's a and then in there.
Yeah, there's definitely a but and an and then in there. The actual getting to that show, not the physical getting to that show, because of course it was recorded in my house and that made things easy, but the actual getting to the point of being able to do that show was a bit of a clusterfuck, as it seems to always be. That's like the trademark of No Holds Barred Productions, is some things, like, it might as well be Murphy's Law. If something can go wrong, it's gonna go wrong.
Oh yeah.
And all I can say is I thank my lucky stars that this kid sitting beside me got here as early as he did. Because you were here by like 2?
Yeah, about
before 2?
Yeah.
And we needed every second of that time in order to get this thing off the ground, considering that there were going to be 5 of us here. 5 of us on mic at the same time, and yeah, it was a lot more involved than it sounded. Our afternoon started by, again, coming down into the dungeon here and realizing, like, okay, there's going to be 5 people here.
We have 3 mics.
We have, well, first, yeah, exactly. We have 3.
Technically 4.
Right.
Counting the wireless.
Yeah, counting the wireless, but it's like we have really, like, my mic. Oop, jeez. My mic is a dedicated mic to me. Nick's mic is a dedicated mic to him. We have a dedicated mic for a third guest, and after that, it gets kind of tricky. We do have a wireless microphone, which is our fourth, but we really want to, like, if we're going to have 5 people total, we'd like everybody to have their own mic.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, how are we gonna fix this problem? We have the mics that we used originally when we first started doing these podcasts, when it was nothing but my laptop and 2 little clip-on computer microphones.
Yeah, running into a Y jack.
Exactly, running into a Y jack and then running into the
computer.
mic, the mic port on my laptop. That's all that our podcast was for the first half a dozen episodes at least.
Well,
it was just
the first one was recorded off my iPhone.
That's true. That's true. Episode 1 was recorded off the iPhone.
We can't forget that.
That's true. That is true. That's very true. So we weren't exactly a technological marvel even then compared to what we do now. So we still had those, and we thought, well, okay, those split off into 2, so therefore now we have our 5 mics. We have the 3 dedicated regular mics and then those 2 clip-ons.
Yeah. So what we did is we pulled out the table. We put the dedicated mic in the middle,
right,
to pick up everybody, and then we kind of used the 2 computer microphones for ambient sound.
Exactly.
So it would just be one in the middle and the other 2 kind of like on the sides of them to pick up.
Right. And we thought that by doing that, then we'd just be able to pick up. We'd just be able to pick up all 3, no matter who spoke or whatever.
Yeah.
That then we'd be able to pick up all 3.
It would just sound all in one.
Exactly.
It'd just be all there.
So how did that get fucked up, Nick?
Well, I didn't have a converter cable down here anymore to convert the computer hookup.
Right.
Into the, I believe it's 1/4 inch that goes into the soundboard.
I think, yes, yeah, I believe it is.
So I was like, damn it. We have to go down to the source.
Exactly.
And you're like, good. Because I'm going to buy a signal booster because the signal down in my basement is crap for Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. The Wi-Fi signal down here in the dungeon is not exactly the greatest. So I wanted to buy a signal booster so that we could have equivalent signal downstairs as I do anywhere upstairs. So down to the source we go. The source, in case you don't know.
To the source.
Exactly. The source, in case you don't know, Source, Circuit City, everything like that. Basically, a one-stop kind of tech shop.
So first off, I go to the source. Justin goes to poop.
Yes. That is true, because every time I step into our mall, I have the uncontrollable desire to drop a deuce. And it's 100% psychological at this point, but I'm like, I get down there and I'm just like, I gotta poop. I don't know why. It just happens.
It just happens. So I go into the source. I go over to the cables. I know what I want, but I see other things that I could do, like awesome things with.
This is the problem.
I can't afford.
Nick going into the source is like a kid going into a candy store. It's just like, look at all the things I want. And that's basically the way that he operates when he goes into the source.
Yeah, it basically is. So I picked up my cable. Justin picked up his wireless signal booster, and we make our way home.
We make our purchases.
Yes, from Billy.
Yeah, from Billy. Yes.
Yeah.
Source employee Billy. So we make our purchases, and we come home. So we try to get the signal booster working. That wasn't working. And the reason it wasn't working is because the router on my Wi-Fi connection has to be as old as Methuselah. Like it's an old ass router, which is not what was it, WPS? I think it was. No.
WSK.
No, I thought there's a P in there somewhere. I thought it was WPS or WSP. In any case, there's something that this thing needs that my router don't have. It's supposed to have a button on the outside Doesn't have it. Supposed to be a way to get to it through the router controls. Can't do that either. So I'm like, well, this is officially a paperweight now, so this is no good. So there's $60 or whatever that I'm like, well, now we got to take this back. In the meantime, Nick comes down with his converter to try and get those two laptop mics working. How did that go?
We plugged it in, tried it out, no signal.
No signal on either one.
Sound was turned up on the board.
Yep.
So we tried both of them, nothing. Plugged them into the laptop, they worked.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, fuck it, it must be the converter.
Yeah.
So, hey-o, back down to the source we go.
And in case you're wondering, I did not have to poop a second time.
No, you didn't.
I held it in. I held it in with all my strength.
So we went down to the source, and the first person that we see when we walk in is our good friend Billy.
Hey, Billy. Yeah, he looks up. He just makes eye contact. He's like, he just looked at us. He's just like, okay, what didn't work, or something like that. He's like, oh, okay, didn't work, and both of us are just like, nope. So he just kind of looked at both of us and just like, neither one of the things that we got did us any good, unfortunately.
So we returned both of our purchases.
We do.
And while we're there, the source was the first place that I bought microphones from.
Mm-hmm.
I got actually 2 of our microphones that we have from the source.
Yeah.
So normally logic would tell me that the source would carry microphones. They don't anymore. For some odd reason, they don't have them.
Great. So we're back to our initial issue where really we only have 4 microphones. Oh, also, when we were down at the source the second time, you bought batteries for the wireless so that we knew that at least the wireless wouldn't run out of juice mid-podcast.
Yes.
So that was good. At the very least, we covered our bases on that level. So we're thinking, okay, where can we get a 5th microphone?
Music stores?
Music stores. So the initial thought was to go from Bridgewater, where we are, to Mahone Bay. Because there's a little music store in Mahone Bay that I think you said you had shopped at before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, let's roll. On the way, we get the bright idea, well, there is a music store in our town by the name of Strings and Things. So we're like, well, let's try up to Strings and Things first. If we can save ourselves the Mahone Bay trip, then we might as well. So we go up to Strings and Things, and we deal with a nice girl. But at the same time, we're like, we know what we're looking for. Like, we're looking for these microphones that you said cost what, $30?
Around there.
Yeah, so it's like, between $30 to $40. And she tries to basically push a $190 microphone on us. And we're like, well, we appreciate your salesmanship, but not exactly what we're looking for. Not exactly in the price range for a free fucking podcast. She's like, well, I don't have any of these other whatevers, but I'll sell you the $190 one for $140. And we're just like, same problem. Still not exactly what we're... So I explained to her, I was like, look, we do a free podcast. Like, I mean, this is not something that we charge for. We're not earning any income off of this. Like, we don't exactly have it in the budget to spend $140 on a microphone. Girl looks me dead in the eyes. This is 2014. Girl looks me dead in the eyes like a deer in the headlights when I say podcast. She's just like, podcast? What's a... And this is not an older girl. This is a girl that's like our age.
Yeah.
So she's just like, what podcast? I was just like, radio show? Basically. And she was like, she kind of feigned like she knew what I was talking about. And I'm just like, dang, like, is podcast such an unknown term at this point? I don't know. In any case, I found it weird that she didn't know what a podcast was.
Yeah.
For someone from our generation, because it's become quite a popular medium. So that was a dead end. So off to Mahone Bay we go. Mahone Bay is, what would you say, 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes out of town?
Not even 10 minutes out of town.
So like it barely out of town. And this is a little after 4 o'clock. So we've been on this task for about 2 hours now. We get to the shop in Mahone Bay. What happened, Nick?
They were closed.
Closed at 4 o'clock on a Saturday. Goddamn.
The opposite of open, closed.
The opposite of helpful in this scenario. Goddamn. So, all right, they're closed. Well, that was a waste of time. So, now what we do is we're sitting in the parking lot of this music store, and I'm just kind of chuckling. Nick, not so much, not as much. But I was just like, you kind of got to laugh at it. Right?
I was trying to figure out what was our next step.
Yeah, I was just like, what the hell's our next step?
I was half tempted to drive into Halifax.
And you know what? If we would have had the time, I'm sure that's what we would have been doing. It's just like, all right, Long and McQuaid, go. Fucking rent one. So we're sitting there in this parking lot in Mahone Bay thinking, what in the hell are we going to do? We got the bright idea to call Billy at the Source, who has become our unwitting co-star in this story. So we call the Source, and we get Billy on the phone. And I'm just like, Billy, do you have anything there for a microphone that would fit into a soundboard at, a quarter of an inch or whatever? And he's like, no, we don't really have anything right now. Like we normally do, but we just don't have anything right now. It's like, well, okay, no worries.
Yanni.
Another yawn, sorry. I was like, okay, no worries. So basically we're at the point where it's like, okay, we don't have time for anything else at this point. So it's like, you know what? We're just going to have to go with what we got, which is basically the subtitle of this podcast. No Holds Barred Productions. Go with what you got. So we're like, okay. So we go back to Bridgewater, and we're like, okay, we're going to be running on a 4-mic system. What's the best way to do this? So it was Nick and I with our own dedicated mic. Rodney had his own dedicated mic. And then Justin and Cody were passing the wireless back and forth between each other. So it was an imperfect science. It didn't work out the way that we had hoped it was going to work out, but at the same time, everything fell into place. Everything worked out. It's just one of those tragic stories of trying to get a podcast off the ground. And again, Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will in fact go wrong. Fun times.
Or Nick's Law. If you can't do what you want to do, go to Wendy's.
That's true. If you can't do what you want to do, go to Wendy's. Which is kind of...
Which is what we did.
Yeah, that's true. We pretty much did. We're just like, yeah, let's... what do we want to do now? Let's go get something to eat. So we went and we got something to eat. And we were just like, oh, well, you know what? We're just gonna have to go with what we got. And go and get something to eat's basically what we did today. This is basically going to serve as the what's new, and basically just tell you what we did earlier pre-podcast. You got here even earlier this week than you did 2 weeks ago.
You
were
here around 11:30.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd basically just gotten out of bed, so I look all fucked up and I'm tired. And I get a text from this kid over here, just basically saying, lunchy munches? I'm like, yeah, we can do some lunch. So he shows up. Well, I got dressed. He shows up. We kind of shoot the shit for a little bit. And then we decide we're going to Boston Pizza. And Boston Pizza is like the holy grail of fucking restaurants. Like,
yep.
I love me some Boston Pizza. They have great everything. I've never had a bad meal. So we go to Boston Pizza, and there's not a whole heck of a lot of people there or whatever. We have our lunch, which takes about an hour, I guess.
Yeah.
What did you have?
I had the potato skins, and really good potato skins, by the way. They had they had barbecue sauce and cheese and like the onions and everything, and
making people hungry on the No Holds Barred podcast.
It wasn't even. It was like a ranch over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like sour cream.
Very nice.
Which was really good. And then I had the jambalaya fettuccine,
Nice.
which was all like it had shrimp,
bacon, hash browns. That's a Bubbles impression from Trailer Park Boys.
Oh fuck, that was gonna be delicious.
That was gonna be delicious.
No, but
terrible.
It had fettuccine, it had shrimp, it had sausage, and then it had like a whole bunch of like peppers and shit, and it was spicy and it was good, and I ate it all.
And you were like, nom 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 nom.
And then my tummy growled.
Exactly.
I wanted to feel
growled in happiness. So he had that. I had the I started with little pizza rolls, which were actually quite good. Little pizza rolls and like marinara sauce and stuff like that. And then I had, it's a new item on the Boston Pizza menu. It's the broken Boston lasagna or something like that. Really, really good. Like we're talking like regular lasagna kind of stuff on top, but like underneath it there was like sausage and hamburg and onions and red peppers and like a spicy sauce. It was really, really good. So if you're going to Boston Pizza, that's a relatively new menu item. Try that shit because that shit is awesome. But the food wasn't even the main event of the Boston Pizza trip.
Nope.
What was the main event of the Boston Pizza trip?
Shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard.
Or shuffle table.
Or shuffle table.
First time.
And actually at the intro of this podcast, you also said shuffle table.
Did I?
Yeah. I just didn't correct you. We just went with it.
Whatever.
It's good enough. People know what you're talking about.
No,
so the Boston Pizza, instead of having pool tables, which they used to have, they now have a little shuffleboard table with little like pucks. And so we were just like, oh, let's play a game. Let's play a game of shuffleboard. It's like it's $1 for what we later turned out to be a doubles game, or 50 cents for a singles game. So we played 3 games.
Yeah.
We played a doubles game, but it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
And
2 singles.
And 2 singles. So the doubles game, I ended up winning. The doubles game goes to 21. I ended up winning 21-17.
Mm-hmm.
And that was after being down. I was down by quite a bit. I was down by 5 or 6 points. But that was mostly because this one scored me 6 points in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Basically was going to take one of my pucks out, took out one of his, bumped one of my pucks into a 3-pointer when I already had a 3-pointer in there. So he scored me 6 points in one shot, which was very gracious of you, and I appreciate it. I will appreciate it until the day I die. So I beat him 21-17 in the doubles game, but he dominated me in the singles games. Like he was pissed off, clearly, because he really went all out in the singles games. The first one you beat me, I think it was 15-9. I think was the first one, and I think the second one was 15-7.
Something around
It was
there.
something like that. So you had a real bee in your bonnet over losing that doubles game. So he ended up beating me, I think 47-37 in total between the 3 games. So one very good game and 2 that totally sucked. Fuck shuffleboard, except when I win. Then it's great. Then shuffleboards.
Isn't that like everything?
That's the same way I treat pool, bowling, poker, and sex. Fuck it if I don't get to come first. But there's an insight into my love life, ladies. Yeah, woohoo.